So hi everybody, my name is Alexis Ogra and I'm running for President of the Student Association on the action ticket. I'm currently a junior and a history major and I serve as the Special Interest Coordinator for the Student Association. Last year I served as the President of College Republicans and my freshman year I was Secretary of the club. I've also served on the Student Senate for 2 years now, and last year I was the Ethics Chair for the SBI Board of Directors. So I think that in my role as Special Interest Coordinator, it's very unique because the Special Interest Council represents a very diverse population here on campus with their ideals. Most of the clubs can fit into either categories of political clubs, religious clubs, or single issue-based cause clubs. As their representative for the Student Association, I've been able to voice their opinions, to essay very effectively, and I think that can be easily translated into representing, a large body of opinions to the administration here on campus. Myself, along with my running mates, Stepniewski and Pranata, on the action ticket, we all feel that, we're running with a simple and straightforward message to be effective and streamline processes in the Student Association. I think that, in my role as president, there's a few, large issues here on campus. Those would be the money here in the Student Association, how we're spending students' money, our large programs and how we're reaching out to students, and parking here on campus. So everybody pays the student mandatory activity fee every semester if you're an undergraduate student. That money is then given to the Student Association for us to divvy up among clubs, our different programs, and other expenditures. I think really that the Student Association bureaucracy itself, maybe not the clubs though, we've been using money wastefully, and I think we need to really cut down and eliminate wasteful spending so that can be given out to clubs. You'll see, I think, being on staff, I really saw that firsthand this year. We took a camping trip for orientation, for staff orientation, cost about $4,000 for our staff to go on. As well as, you'll see students in the staff wearing these LL Bean jackets that we got this year for staff. Those cost about $4,000. So I think things like that can really be cut down so that, more money can be given to clubs and better programming. This year, the Student Association started a, ticket policy for Spring Fest, Fall Fest, and our comedy series. I don't think that was rolled out in an effective way. There was a lot of miscommunication between us and the student body. We weren't prepared for it to be implemented, and that really led to lower attendance at events when we could have been, with more at our maximum capacity there. And then I think that parking here on campus is, a big issue that really affects all students. As a commuter student, I feel that, I've had to make that decision between having to, risk getting a ticket, being late to class, or skipping class altogether because you just can't find a parking spot, especially in the winter. It's just, it's not something students should have to deal with. The university at this point really won't even acknowledge that it's a problem, and we need to be able to voice our opinion to them in a more effective way so that students can, our university can expand. While that's good for the Student Association as well as the university. We've accepted more students into our university. We had more students enroll in the university than we thought they would, and that's a great problem to have, but we need to be tackling the issues that come with that so that our university is able to expand, as well as the Student Association. At this time, I'd like to take any questions that you guys might have for me.
To voice student opinion in a more effective way, what would that look like?
I think right now, you've seen the Student Association use, town hall meetings and more like in-person things, but I think we should be moving that more online. Using student surveys, I think would be great after any of our essay programming, during any big issues that happen here on campus. Something for students to be able to quickly do something, maybe while you're taking a study break or something like that. And this way we can gather all of that information without just having, a simple maybe gathering in the Student Union Theater that might only get 30 kids who are already in SA. And this way, we'd be able to gather more opinions and voice those to the university.
I guess just a logistical thing. How do you get students to take surveys? Like, I feel like we already are kind of inundated with surveys, and is there like an incentive, or how do you even like get the word out to students about them?
Yeah, I think our media and marketing really needs to amp up in the student association, and that's a place where I think clubs can really be using that as well. Our programming for reaching out to the residence halls, having them make announcements to kids that are on dorms, having them be able to let them know about the surveys that we have, sending them out in emails to the university, things that are easy ways for kids to just be able to click on and go. I would love to work with like the Spectrum if if you guys would be willing to get those on your website or something like that to be able to get to more students that way. Yeah.
So you've talked about your qualifications, and obviously we're sitting here, you're the third person running for president that we're seeing speak. Why are you as a person, again, you all have your various qualifications, but why do you feel like you as a person are best for this job?
I think it's really, for me personally, I wanted to do this because I love working with people of, different backgrounds and different opinions, and being able to put all of that together and mix that to, voice any opinion or to come up with a simple solution. When I was the president of College Republicans, we shared an office with College Democrats, Mock Trial, and other clubs. We all got along, we all hung out, we used to table together, and me and the treasurer from College Democrats used to say, oh, well, we're dating or something like that. Just, something like kids would really understand, like, we're good friends, stuff like that. As well as then, for the Special Interest Council, you have a lot of different clubs that are of different views, and I've been able to effectively do that there. I love working with, just to come up with a solution with different opposing views, and I think it's I would love to do that for the entire student body.
Sure.
Any other questions? Oh, sorry.
So you're also the third person who's brought up parking problems,
Mhm.
and everyone realizes it's a problem. We all do.
Yeah.
The university knows also. So realistically, what changes do you think SA can make? Because I know the university's saying we can't add parking spots. There are enough around. So what do you guys think that you guys can do to help the parking problem?
I think we need to be able to at least work with the university to go towards a solution. People are coming up with a lot of different ideas for that solution, but we need to be able to come up with one single one. I know a big thing for students is if you're a commuter, having your spot taken by somebody who already lives on campus is something that we just don't want to see. We love that everybody can come and have a car on campus. I don't think you should be banning freshmen from having cars or anything like that. But areas for commuters only, so that we can't park in the dorming area, but they can park in our spots is something that I think we need to maybe be able to separate, and that would be able to at least you would have a set space where you would be able to park, and you wouldn't have to park all the way out in Ellicott where you're not really supposed to be, and then risk getting a ticket to have to walk the whole way. Oh yeah.
Okay, so everything that's going on right now in the news with Trump versus the media, what is your stance on the relationship between a student government and a student publication?
Between us and the student publication, I definitely think we need to have a working relationship, something where we can both benefit for always welcome in our office for stories or anything like that. For us to be able to reach out to you guys, and I love that sometimes the Spectrum will write publications on new clubs and club events. That's really great for the student association to be able to feature our clubs and get out to a broader base. I think that sort of that rift between the Spectrum and the student association really needs to just sort of disappear. It's something that's been going on for a while, and I think people need to realize we all work together, and we're both trying to go towards the same ideal of making the campus better.
All right, hello everyone. My name is Alexis Stepniewski, and I'm running for Vice President of SA on the Action Ticket, along with Alexis, Ogra, and Peter Pranata. A little bit about me: I'm a first-generation immigrant from Poland, and I first got involved with SA my freshman year when I joined the Polish Student Association and Mock Trial. So I decided to run for vice president because currently I'm a bookkeeper for SA, and so as bookkeeper I got to know all of the clubs and all the events that they hold. I'm super talkative and super friendly, so whatever clubs came in, I always asked them like how their event went or what they're doing. And so I got to know all the amazing things that they do, but also the issues that they face. And so I want clubs to know that the sky is the limit with their club. And by helping them know what's available to them within SA and within UB, I hope to help them make their club events better and also help them get more students involved. I'm a commuter, so when I was a freshman, it was hard for me to find people to connect with because I just go to class and then I'd go back home. So by getting more students involved in clubs and getting the message out there that there's a place for you on campus, I really hope that I can increase the student involvement in SA so that everyone can find their home on campus. Because, I mean, we all go to the university to learn new things, experience new things, and through SA you can really do that. Another thing that's very important to me is advocacy for students. Currently, I'm the treasurer of SBI, and so I get to sit in on meetings with the administration. And recently, I heard about the increase in the academic excellence fee, and so they want to increase it by $100 next year, which is ridiculous because students don't even know where this fee is going towards, and sometimes $100 is like a few weeks of groceries for students. We're all in debt, so I do not want to increase the debt of students, and so I wrote a letter of dissent to the administration about this increase in the fee, and I have all 7 student governments backing this, and we're all working together to help stop this increase in the fee. And so you guys will actually be hearing about this soon. I'll be sending you that letter. And so I want to increase the advocacy for students, continue that, work with students, hear what they have to say. So I'm also planning on attending all of the council meetings for the clubs so that I get to know them and I get to know what issues they've been facing so that I can represent them, I can hear what's going on in their lives. And so I want to hold the administration accountable for what they're doing, but also I want to be held accountable as well. I want to hold SA and the SA Executive Board accountable by having these surveys that clubs can fill out, students can fill out, and also the SA staff to fill out about how I'm doing, how SA is doing, like anything, any issues that they've been facing so that we can improve, because if you get feedback, that's how you improve. Like, you need to hear what's going on. Like, I can hear from other clubs, but sometimes people are scared to tell others. So by having an anonymous survey, we'll be able to improve our events and also our performance as well. And another thing that I want to implement as SA Vice President is changing the club orientation. Because right now, club orientation is basically 3 hours where someone just talks at you. And no one remembers this, everyone's tired, I've been through it. And I want to make it really active so that everyone's involved. Especially now we're going to have a new accounting software, so I want to separate out the president and treasurer so that they can learn a little bit more about Altus and about the new accounting software. And then I would separate the vice president and secretary together so that they can learn about track sheets, how to reserve a room, stuff like that, and actually make them active and do it so that they have experience with it before the school year starts. And so hopefully by being there, I'll be able to get to know the clubs a little better and see what they're struggling with, and that relationship can continue throughout the year so that they're not afraid to go up to me or any of the e-board to talk about what's going on. Sometimes the coordinators aren't there, and so people are sometimes intimidated by the office. I don't want that to happen at all. I'll always have an open door policy, and I'm planning on having like this big poster on the door with Post-its, and people can just post a Post-it on there if I'm gone, in case they need something, and my phone number will always be there for clubs to contact me. So that's a little bit about me and my platform. Do you guys have any questions? Yes.
My question concerns a lot of club sports. Specifically, they talk about being underfunded and a lack of availability time for a lot of the facilities they need. Do you have any plans of addressing these issues?
Yes. So I know that clubs have an issue with athletics, and actually at the fee meeting, I was talking with the athletic and recreation directors, and I was asking them, well, what are you guys doing to help clubs have more space? Why are you increasing your fee if the recreation space won't be larger for club athletes as well? and so they told us about their increases in space on South Campus, but also we're looking into maybe acquiring a field in Ellicott. Logistically, it'll be a little hard, but I think that it's important for the sports clubs to have space to practice because that's the point of their club. But also, I think that the SAE board, well, our SAE board will have a united front with athletics. So if any club has any issue with like administration, because I've heard that sometimes administration doesn't even talk to them, all three of us will be there in person, talking to that administrator, asking what's going on, being there for the club, because like that's our job, you know? I'm not going to email someone, I'm going to go to them face to face, because if you don't go to them face to face, then nothing's going to happen, and you can really like gauge what they're thinking, learn what they have to say, but also be there with the hard facts and be there with the club and say, this isn't fair, we're going to fight for you. Yeah.
So you have a ton of ideas that you want to implement, which is really great. How do you feel like you're going to be able to balance the planning of all of these ideas and working through them on top of being a student and continuing to work with that?
Okay, well, so currently I have 2 jobs, bookkeeper and SBI treasurer. So I've already had a lot of experience with balancing my time, getting stuff done. Like, our ticket name is Action because my life philosophy is if I say, oh, I wish I could do that, or I wish I could go there, I just do it. You know, like, I'm not going to wait. So definitely to-do lists will be in my office at all times with what I want to get done, the plan for it. And I'm not someone who will think of something and be like, oh, like, well, there's not enough time or that'll be hard. Like, I'm just going to do it, you know? So I'm a very motivated person, and I'm not worried at all that my ideas won't be implemented, because I know a lot of other e-boards have said, oh, I'm going to do this, this, and this, and they haven't really, they've fallen through on those promises. I'm not that type of person because I want the clubs to succeed. Like, I want them to have everything available to them, because, you know, that's my job, and also if I make the clubs better, then the whole undergraduate student experience is better. So I'm definitely going to do everything that I've proposed now, but also things that maybe other people will propose to me during my vice presidency.
Hi everyone, good afternoon. My name is Peter Pranata. I'm running for the treasurer for SA with the action ticket. I'm an international student from Indonesia. I've been in UB for 3 years. I'm currently a junior majoring in industrial engineering. And that's basically a brief info about myself. So talking a brief background about my SA experiences. I've been in SA for around 2 years. I started out in my sophomore year as a secretary for Indonesian Student Association. And from there I moved up to becoming the president of the club, which is what I'm doing right now. And aside from that, I'm also working as a finance bookkeeper within the SA finance department. I believe that both of this experience allows me to have a better understanding of how finances works in SA, especially coming from a club. I understand how sometimes it can be quite difficult to deal with SA finances, especially when you're trying to run an event, because as a president, we still do the finances for our clubs. And coming from a bookkeeper position, I oversee all clubs' financial activities, and it allows me to have a better understanding of what club do every year between the time period in fall and spring semester, and what's necessary in order for them to succeed as a club. All in all, I think this comes down to when problems comes up within the semester, and if I were elected as a treasurer, I'll be able to have a better judgment on making decisions, especially tough decisions when tough financial problems arise. Aside from that, aside from SA, I've been involved in the international community for around 3 years. I worked in international admissions before. I work as an ambassador also, which makes me a liaison for school and also the prospective international students that's coming to UB. Just talking about SA finances, I just have one thing that I really want to stick with, that I really like, which is the rollover policy that Joe 2 years ago proposed, and the policy that's Dan sticking with it this year, Dan Emmons, our current SA treasurer, which is the 2222 requirements with a 3% reduction in participation, events, and community service. I really like that idea. I think it creates an incentive for clubs to have more events, and they're not here to fundraise, they're here to promote their vision, their mission, and what they're trying to achieve as a club. And now moving on with several ideas that I have if I were to be elected as a treasurer. One of them is emergency grant, or emergency PO, sorry. So what this emergency PO is, basically, clubs are able to propose and encumber a certain amount of money at the start of the semester. And it's going to be in a form of reimbursement. And what they use this for is basically during International Fiesta or during Engineering Week, you have clubs making battle bots, and then suddenly 2 days before the event, you forgot, I need a metal sheet to finish my battle bot. What do? If you submit a PO, you wouldn't be able to get it because PO takes around 3 to 5 days and to get approved. So this is where emergency PO comes in. They're gonna call me or they're gonna text me or email me about to get my approval, and then they're gonna go ahead and buy the items and get reimbursed based on from the encumbered funds that they did early in the semester. And every semester it'll get voided, so the money that not used will go back into the club's account. Another thing that I want to do is expand vendor partnership. For example, hotels is a big thing. As of right now, we only have partnership with Red Roof Inn, which can cause a lot of problems. Red Roof Inn is cheap, but at the same time, it's not always located at the prime location. So when clubs go to competitions or conferences, they have a hard time dealing with finding a closed hotel or finding a closed Red Roof Inn, and most of the time they have to do reimbursement. And reimbursement for hotel there's a lot of liability with that. Clubs spending $2,000 in your credit card for hotel booking, I think it's a lot of money, and I would rather have them go through a PO process for that. Lastly, SA co-sponsorship. We have, as of right now, we have Senate grant, SBI grant, and coordinator co-sponsorship. But Senate grant takes a long time. It takes 2 Senate meetings for them to get approved and for them to get their money in their account. SBI grant is only one-time application. You miss that deadline, you won't be able to apply for an SBI grant. Then co-sponsorship. Most of the time, coordinator gets busy with their things, especially with setting up council meetings, and sometimes they're not really. It's really hard to get co-sponsorship, but I've dealt with all 3 of them for my club before, and so I understand sometimes how hard it can be to deal with them. So what I'm proposing for SA co-sponsorship is clubs can go up to the treasurer, VP, or the president of SA, and they can propose up to a maximum of $300 to sponsor their events. And it's going to take around 10 to 20 minutes for them to present to us, and we're going to give the decision right on the spot, and the money will be basically in the next budget adjustment. So it's going to be more faster than Senate grant. Just to wrap up with, I believe that Alicia talked about the orientation on splitting the president, treasurer, and the secretary and VP. I just want to touch more upon that because we're actually having a new accounting system coming into place, which is called Alexis. So SAFE and KVS may or may not, KVS will definitely not be there anymore, but SAFE may or may not be there. Or the thing with Alexis, so it might be integrated into one program instead, so when they apply for PO, it's going to be put into requisition straight away. So during orientation, I really want to sit down with clubs, have them take out their laptops or book a computer lab, and go through all the basic finance-related activities. For example, how to create a PO, how to do reimbursement, because as a bookkeeper, I see that a recurring problem in the office, and most of the time, they're still asking basic questions. How do I submit a PO? And I think that's not really necessary because, well, I understand that no one really reads the finance handbook. When I was a treasurer, when I was a secretary, I didn't read the handbook either, so it's pretty normal for that. But just to end with, that's basically my top 3 ideas that I have if I were to be elected as treasurer. Thank you so much, everyone, for your time. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask me.
Just to clarify, are you saying you want to keep the system right now with the rollbacks, or are you advocating for like they get to keep it even if they don't meet their mark?
Oh, I'm keeping this the rollover policy.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I'm keeping the rollover policy as what's right now with Dan. So
Okay.
they will need to fundraise. If they maximize all the points, they only need to fundraise 23% of the original budget.